you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this blustery day meeting of Fresno City Toastmasters. I think we're all excited that we got a little bit of rain this week. My name is Chanel. I'm the current club president for Fresno City Toastmasters. I'm going to read our mission statement for everybody just to keep us abreast of the purpose that we're meeting here today. The mission of Fresno City Toastmasters is to provide a positive and supportive learning experience, to empower members to develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Again, I would like to give thanks to Michael, who is not here, for letting us use his facility. We are grateful for that. He lets us do that free of charge. And I also wanted to bring up the dues. So our club dues for the 6 months that we've been talking about the past few weeks, they are due tomorrow, I believe, officially. And I believe, Emerson, you had asked this morning if Joey received your payment. So I would like to confirm that. Joey, did you see Emerson's come through?
And that was PayPal, right, Emerson? Yeah, I got his. So we have seven paid. Kalani, I got to connect with. I missed her on Friday. I think we were supposed to connect, but we haven't yet. So she'll be number 8. So we should get our 8 at least on that. Because we got, I think, everybody here pretty much. And then
no, I still need to pay you, but I tried to do it right before we got on, but PayPal is dumb, and so I'll figure it out eventually. Sorry.
Okay, so no Guido. I don't have to send Guido after you, Sarah.
You can. I'll take him out.
You'll cook him some. You'll make him some cookies. Bake him some cookies. Some syrup.
Oh no! I said I'd take him out.
Oh, you'll take him out. Okay. Take him out to dinner.
Oh no!
Well, Sarah, if you can figure out how to do it by tomorrow, then we will reach 8 people and we'll get points.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do my best.
We'll get credit. Our club will get credit for getting at least the 8 in.
Cool. All right, and then the other thing that I wanted to bring up is I am assuming we haven't talked about it as a board, but that we will be taking the week before Easter / spring break off of club, which will be April 12th. Is everybody in agreement with doing that? Good. Okay, so we'll meet next week on the 5th then, and then April 12th in 2 weeks will be a break, so we will not be here. All right. And then finally, before we start, we've had like several last minute agenda changes. So I think we need to go over the whole thing and make sure that everybody is very clear on what our roles are. And we also have a couple of roles that still need filling. So the first one, Ray just emailed me a little bit ago. He was signed up for grammarian, but he's not going to be able to be here. So could we have somebody jump in for grammarian role real quickly?
Yeah, I can do that.
Denny, okay, thank you. And then also, can somebody double up and volunteer to do timer? Preferably, I think somebody on Zoom, it usually works better.
Joey? I can do it.
Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to read everybody's role just so we're clear. Then we've got Joey is Toastmaster today. Monica is going to be the general evaluator for us. Denny is grammarian. I am the odd counter. Joey is the timer and Zoom master. Emerson will be speaking. Sarah will be evaluating his speech, and Heather is doing table topics. Everybody's good. Okay. All right, with that then, I will pass the podium over to our Toastmaster today, Joey.
Thank you, Chanel. So our theme for today is never have I ever. I think this is an actual game, right? Is it kind of what we did one of our board meetings? Was that never have I ever?
No, that was 2 truths and a lie.
That was 2 truths and a lie. That's right. Yeah. So something like that, right? So I just wanted to share an interesting story. So my daughter, never have I ever. So this is one thing I haven't done, and I'm going to reveal the second thing that I haven't done, but now I have, is putting together no, it wasn't 8 foot. It seems in my brain, it was an 8-foot dollhouse put together for my daughter, who I think this was 2 Christmases ago. I had to do that. And I did that after a meeting with family, coming home at around 8 o'clock at night. and deciding, you know what, I think I might have a beer or two and do this until I open the box. And I said, no, I'm probably not going to do any of that because I will never get this done if I do that. So putting together about a 5-foot dollhouse. Well, just last Friday, I had a schedule where I was going to be contacting some businesses and a couple other things. And so I said, you know what, I need to clear my schedule because she had a party on Saturday. I had to put together, never have I ever, a Barbie van with a kitchen in the back, powered vehicle. So I had to put that together, and it's the big old giant box has been sitting in our garage for weeks, waiting, procrastinating. And finally I said, you know what? Well, I don't have much time tonight, Friday night. I don't have much time Saturday before the party. So I need to just clear my schedule and do that. So it took me 4 hours to put this Barbie van kitchen set. And by the way, she loves it. She loves it. So never have I ever put together a Barbie van with a kitchen thing until Friday. So that's my story on that. And I'm sure there'll be many others having to do with girl stuff when my daughter gets older. She's 6 going on 16. So just give you an idea. Fire first, aim second. That's how she is. So that is my Toastmasters talk on our theme for today. And with that, I will pass the baton. Oh, did we decide on who's GE? Was that who's doing our? Oh, Monica. All right. I will pass the baton over to Monica, who is our general evaluator of the day.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and our guest. For the benefit of our members and guests, I will be the general evaluator, and I will conduct the evaluation portion of our meeting. I will be calling on a team to assist me with giving feedback to our speakers, and I will evaluate the entire meeting as well at the end. So help me welcome today will be Sarah to evaluate a speech given by Mr. Emerson Estrada.
Well, Monica, start with the
Grammarian.
First. Yeah, start.
Okay.
Start grammarian
Yeah.
and then go down. Yeah.
Okay, I was using this other script. And so next we will hear from the grammarian, who is going to be Denny. So,
I forgot I was present in the room. Today, I'm going to be counting everybody's crutch words. One of the fun things that we do in Toastmasters to make us more aware of how we speak.
Volunteered for grammarian.
Oh, grammarian. Today I'm going to, what am I going to do today?
Welcome back, Denny.
Pass it over to somebody else while you figure out a word of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to find a word of the day. I'm going to listen to how everyone speaks and write down any grammatical errors today. And I'm going to pass this over to the next person. Yes, thank you.
Okay. No worries at all. The agenda has changed like 6 times today already.
Denny, do you want me to do that? I can do that real quick.
Yeah.
And then you can keep track.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let me find something real.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Monica. Go ahead with the rest of the.
okay, so while we're waiting on the word, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our all counter. And our all counter for today is Madam President Chanel West.
I'm going to be the all counter for today, so I will be listening closely to the fluidity of our speaking, making sure that we're not using crutch words, that we're trying to avoid long pauses and awkward transition words as much as possible. I'm going to try to watch myself also because I know that I've not been doing great lately. I think last week I got caught on like 4 or 5 uhs and ums, which is not fantastic. So thank you.
It is important to get your message across in the allowed time and for the meeting to run accordingly to schedule. Our timer today is going to be Joey.
Thank you, Monica. And I have put the word of the day in the chat there. for those of you that are meeting in person, is palatable. Adds an adjective, and there's the how to pronounce it there, what it means. Palatable can mean agreeable to one's sense of taste or palate, or agreeable or acceptable to the mind. Couple sentences. The soup was too bland for my taste, so I added some salt and pepper to make it palatable. And then the second sentence, those who are afraid of flying often consider traveling by train as the palatable alternative. So that's the word of the day there. On the timing side, so Emerson, your speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I will show my background. We'll turn to green. 6 minutes, we'll turn to yellow. And at 7 minutes, to wrap it up, we'll turn to red. We'll also do the same thing for our table topics, 1 to 2 minutes, 1 green, 1.5 yellow, 2 red, and our evaluation, which is going to be, is that Sarah still doing that? Of Emerson's speech. Okay. So Sarah will be 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 green, 2.5 yellow, 3 red. So I'll be keeping the timing of the meeting. Thanks, Monica.
Next is back to Joey, because I know he is our Zoom master, and maybe he can update us with the word for the day as well.
Yep. Zoom master, just making sure that we'll be zooming in on people's faces, making sure that Emerson will make him the main video that'll be in the middle. And also we'll make sure before Emerson gets going that you can see my screen. So you can see those colors that pop up there. And again, the word of the day, I put it in the chat there. Palatable is the word of the day. And then there's I got what it means in there. And then 2 sentences that you guys can check out to see the meaning. Back to you, Monica.
And with that said, back to Joey for the Toastmaster of the day.
There it's at. That's how it works here at Toastmasters. All right, we have a speech today by Mr. Emerson. Emerson, what number speech is this? Did it say in your thing?
It's number 2.
Second speech. So speech number, the second speech, evaluation and feedback. So he will be taking the evaluation from his first speech and using that feedback to do this speech. Now you can either do the same speech over, or you can take the feedback from the first speech evaluation, and you can do a second speech with that feedback moved in. So we'll get to see what Emerson did there. The speech title is "Let's Bring Back the Playground" with an exclamation mark. Let's bring back the playground. And then the 2-3 sentences is a bio for Emerson. I'm returning Toastmaster who has been with the club for a few months, at least our club for a few months. He understands the value of Toastmasters because he's seen how it has helped others come out of their shell and become better speakers and leaders. And he considered himself a lifetime student, always finding ways to improve his life. Toastmasters is one of these ways. So raise your hands in the air, put your hands together for Mr. Emerson for his speech title, "Let's Bring Back the Playground." Emerson, take it away.
Fellow Toastmasters, I was intrigued by an article that I came across recently. It was in the Washington Post, 2018. And it discussed how children are not playing nearly as much outside as in previous generations. And it discussed the benefits of play and how the lack of it can actually affect a child's mental health, their development, and overall joy threshold. So as I read this article, I thought, wow, how neat, because I had always taken for granted that children play. And I also took for granted that maybe their experience as children was similar to my experience. And so that thought came into mind, and I sort of flashed back to my childhood years. I came from Guatemala when I was in kindergarten, and I remember playing with a ton of children in my apartment complex. I lived in San Fernando Valley over in North Hollywood, and we had Armenian kids, we had African-American kids, Latino kids, Laotian, you name it. It was like the United Nations in the parking lot. And we had not only the kids in my apartment complex, but we had the children also in the surrounding apartment complexes. So at any given time, you would see a mob of 8-year-olds, Bart Simpson-like kids all over the place. And so I grew up in that environment. I remember coming home from school and having at least a dozen kids that I knew on a first name basis. And then you had the kids that I didn't know the names of who just happened to be there. We played hide and go seek on a very large scale, and there was plenty of places to hide. We played dodgeball, and it's funny because the ball was never the same. Sometimes we played dodgeball with the big red rubber balls, but sometimes we couldn't find a dodgeball, so we played with basketballs. And so it was part of the fun. You never knew what you got. We played Marco Polo in the summers in the pools. We played capture the flag and rode our bikes. We had bike races, and we knew who the fast guy was and who the slow guy was, and you always tended to be didn't want to be the slow guy, so you worked on it. We even drew squares on the asphalt to play Foursquare. I don't even know if kids play Foursquare anymore, but let me tell you, that was my 15 minutes of fame because I was a good Foursquare player. So I had the limelight there for a second. We would go over each other's homes and we would play Build a Fort with couches, the old couch fort. I remember one friend had the ideal couch that it had so many compartments that we actually built a second floor to the couch for it. And so these are all great memories that I had as a child. And it continued all the way till I became a teenager where I had other priorities. But while I was a kid in that Bart Simpson stage, I had a great time. But as I fast forward to today, and as I drive through my neighborhood where I live, and as I drive through the old neighborhood when I go visit LA, one thing that was distinct was that I did not notice the big groups of children playing in the streets, not in the numbers that I used to see back in the day. And I began observing my relatives' children and my friends' children, and I came to the conclusion that they don't play as much as we did. Yes, they play sports and they go to the Saturday soccer leagues, but not that daily spontaneous, hey, mom, I'm going outside, see you at sundown type play. I don't see that as much. And I don't have children, but I'm very observant of other people's children. And so I noticed that. And I realized that technology has played a huge factor in this, and the research shows this. It has many benefits, technology does, but it has also had its effects. There is more virtual interaction and less physical interaction. Parents have become more cautious about potential injuries and seem to shelter children more than they used to. And the whole situation has become worse with this whole COVID pandemic because people are even more cautious than before because of fear of becoming infected. I looked more into the studies and these studies have shown that physical, in-person, parent-free play is vitally important to child development. It teaches important socialization skills, negotiation skills, builds confidence and assertiveness, and it teaches problem-solving skills. It reduces anxiety and depression, and it boosts overall joy in the lives of children. So playing is a good thing. The research recommends that parents encourage their children to pursue their unique strengths. So everyone has something they enjoy, and we're pretty good at the things that we like to do. But it also says that we should not force them to do something they don't like. It also encourages physical activity. And it doesn't mean to have to go and join a sports team, but just walking, running, going to the park, getting them off their mobile devices and into the playground. Not only is it healthy, but it increases their endorphins. The research also says that we should let our children play without intervention. Free play teaches kids to control their lives and to develop their interests. And it also recommends that parents remember what it was like to be a child. The smallest things inspire awe and wonder. Bubbles blowing in the backyard can be more fun than the latest video game. So, yes, parents would need to give up a little control and embrace some chaos. But in the long run, it would provide our children with more confidence, social skills, and greater joy, making it all worth it. Madam Toastmaster or Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Emerson. Awesome speech. Let me get myself back to normal here. All right, great speech. And I think that is our only speech of the day. Let's get back to gallery view here. Only speech of the day. So with that, I will turn the baton over to our table topics master, Miss Heather Davis. Take it away.
Thank you, Joey. And wonderful speech, Emerson. I really love that and completely agree with you. We need the opportunity to unplug and just to be a kid again. So today, as a table topic master, I'm trying to go with a theme, never have I ever, trying to keep it palatable and within something a little bit easier for you to answer. So I have these 3 questions. Now, the first 2 are kind of similar, so I want to explain where my thought process is. But in the chat, you will see that the 3 questions are: number 1, what is one thing off your bucket list what is one thing you want to cross off your bucket list? Number 2, what is something that you've never done that you wish you could try? And number 3, life is strange and the events that take place leading up to a memorable moment are not always clear. Is there a time in your life when you have asked, did that really just happen? So the first 2, I just want to say, the difference is, let's be real, bucket lists are for those big ones. And the second's more like the daily life to life. What is something that you wish you could try? I'm going to go ahead and answer number 1. One thing on my bucket list that I really, really want to do is go ziplining in Costa Rica or Hawaii, just somewhere tropical, somewhere that I can actually get a beautiful view of ziplining. I've had the opportunity to go skydiving in Lodi, and the opportunity was great. I'm so thankful for it, but the view definitely makes a difference. Coming back down to earth, seeing all the dirt and highway, I'm like, well, this is Central Valley. So if I get the opportunity to really get to cross something off my bucket list that's high adrenaline like that, I really want to be able to go to Hawaii or Costa Rica and do the zip lining or do bungee jumping, because I'm just slightly crazy like that. So is there anyone that wants to offer before I start picking some people?
I can go if somebody else is it.
You can go for it, Sarah.
Well, partly 1 and 2, I guess, but mostly 2. Well, I guess it's, yeah, both. Anyway, I think the bucket list, I've always had a lot of things that I've always loved to do, and I've always wanted to try them and do them, and I've done most everything that I've wanted to do. I have not gone snowmobiling yet, but now as I'm getting older, I'm not a really huge fan of being cold, so that's kind of getting less and less on my list at this point. And I think the one thing that I would really love to do that I think would be super cool would be to ride in a DC-3 aircraft. When I was a flight attendant, we had this hotel that overlooked the Long Beach airport, and I would look over and they had these old DC-3 aircraft, and it's called a tail dragger. So when it sits like this, because a lot of planes have 2 wheels in the back and 1 in the front, but a tail dragger has 2 in the front and 1 little one in the back. And so when they land, they kind of land front and then, sorry, I did just visual, so it lands like this. But it just sits there and it looks so cute and it looks so happy. And I've always just thought it would be really, really fun in order to fly on this little DC-3. It used to be a passenger aircraft. And even one of my old roommates found this old antique book that had a bunch of old passenger aircraft in it. And so she made this wall hanging for me that has my favorite aircraft, DC-3, in it. So someday it would be great if I could. I might have to go to a third world country where they still have them in operation as cargo planes. Anyway, someday I will get there. Thanks, Heather.
Love that. And I agree with you. The older I get, the less I desire cold. Thank you for sharing. I like to think I could go on one of those like high-speed pilot planes, but the G's, I'm sure I would just like pass out real quick.
Oh, it'd be awesome. I'm totally down with that. Let's do it.
Oh, anybody else?
I can go.
Okay.
I'll answer the first question also. What is something that is on my bucket list. Firstly, I'll say though that I have been very frustrated lately with my bucket list because most of the items involve traveling somewhere. That's always been a big dream of mine. I want to go to every continent. Something I've wanted to do for a few years now is backpack in Europe and get to do some hiking in the Alps. And those things have just not been happening lately in my life. I try to be very prayerful about the things that I'm involved in and where I believe God wants me to be in life. And lately he has been telling me to be in Fresno. And I've kind of been like, are you sure? Are you sure? Am I hearing that right? You want to give a different answer? You want to change your mind and you don't want to send me somewhere more exotic? So I've been wrestling with a little bit, but I'm hoping that maybe in the future I will get to do some of those things and that might be on the table in my life plans.
Thank you, Chanel. Yeah, it's so frustrating to be able to cross anything off right now because we're all still stuck at home. But I'll be sending prayers and good vibes that backpacking trip in the Alps happens because that sounds amazing. So, okay, we got 4 people left. Anybody want to offer before I pick you?
I can go, Heather.
Okay, thanks, Joey.
So, one of the things that I wanted to do, my wife started, her and I started dating before we got married, before we had kids. Would have been cool. I not necessarily wanted to do at the time was to be able to travel for baseball. So after I was done with baseball in college, but to travel to other countries like Italy, where baseball is almost non-existent. It's more soccer. That's the main sport over there. But they would pay your way. They would pay you for your travel. They would pay your lodging. And in some cases, they'd pay your food, which means that they're highly motivated and desperate to learn the sport. So they'll pay for everything. China, same way. Some countries more than others, you'll get more. I think China was, especially with English teachers, it was really big and they'd pay everything, give you stipends, the whole thing. So I would love to be able to do that. I told some of you that I'm part-time coaching at the varsity level at Clovis West this year. I probably won't do it again next year. I love it, but it's just a grind. Is a lot of time. Even 3 days a week is 3 hours each day for the most part. But I think it would be pretty fun to travel to Italy and just be there teaching them hitting, because it comes so easy to me to be able to teach that. And it wouldn't be really it wouldn't be work, and it wouldn't be a super high challenge, especially if they want to learn. The high super learners that want to do that are highly motivated. It's easy. It's an easy job. So I think that would be really cool to be able to travel, and each place they're paying for my way all the way to, and I could go to Australia, Italy, I could go wherever I want, that baseball is almost non-existent, so that they're more motivated to fly me there and take care of me. So I'd love to do that. It would be kind of cool.
That is the dream. Oh, to get paid to travel to do what you love. That sounds amazing. Okay, I think we have time for hopefully the last 3 of you. Jenny, would you like to go?
Okay, yeah. See if I can get out of my chair. There we go. During this time of the pandemic, I made some new friends online. One is a girlfriend in Australia, and that has been an amazing friendship because circumstances are, we have a global situation, but the way the countries have dealt with them has been entirely different, similar in some ways and different in other ways. Some of the ways that they're dealing with things in Australia has been completely unpalatable to me, but we are having a lot of fun comparing the way the circumstances have played out. And in the meantime, we've made a great friendship. I would have, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was probably thinking about flying over to visit her. Thankfully, I didn't, because wow, what a lockdown did they do. Frightening. but I'm very thankful for Zoom and being able to communicate with people. I enjoy going to different places, but more than that, I enjoy meeting people. And even if it's on Zoom, even if they have a mask on, and this is the first time I've seen your face today, Emerson, and I love that. I love seeing people smile. That's my business, of course, is photography. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Denny. Yeah, we just need more of that friendliness, you know, in our life, just the opportunity just to make more friends. And whether it's in Australia or in your own backyard, that's the beauty of technology and Zoom. And gosh, Skype really missed their opportunity, right? Okay, so whoever wants to go, Monica, Emerson, please. Perfect, thank you.
Well, Toastmasters, I would have two things on my bucket list that I've been craving to get into. In the spirit of childhood years, I used to go camping all the time. I miss camping. I miss roughing it. I miss being able to take a sleeping bag and just rolling it out and worried about little bugs and little animals getting into the sleeping bag. I miss that. And so maybe as a first phase of that bucket list item, a more palatable approach would be to go to Yosemite housekeeping, where it's a little bit more controlled, less bears, right? And so that'll be the first part of my bucket list item. The other is to go to Florida. I've been to Florida, but I went to a wedding one time, but I didn't go to Disney World or Epcot Center, I think it's called, and Orlando Universal Studios. And so lo and behold, my wife just graduated from University of Phoenix, and you would think that they would get the Save Mart Center as the graduation place. No, we got to go to Orlando for her graduation. So I told her, I said, let's go to Disneyland, let's go to Disney World, and let's go to Epcot. She goes, no, it's too expensive. I go, I don't want to hear it. I've been waiting for this for 30 years, and I've not had the chance. So yes, those two items, hopefully by the end of the summer, will be accomplished. Madam Toastmaster?
Yes, I've never been either. That sounds so amazing. And honestly, I always forget that they have a Orlando Universal Studios too, which blows my mind because I love Universal Studios here. So I'll be cross my fingers for you. I hope that makes that happen. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Monica.
There's something right now that's been consuming me a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and answer number one. Right now, my daughter is in the process of getting all her college acceptance letters. So my bucket list would be, since she's my youngest and my oldest has already graduated from college, my bucket list is to have both of my children successfully graduate from a university, which I have one down and I have the next one down. My daughter did commit to a college without getting them all. So I guess we're in the right pathways. My daughter's gonna be going to UC Davis in fall to study animal biology, which I'm very excited about. But as a parent, it's a really good thing to cross that off your bucket list, because the more your children become independent, the more that just helps you as a person feel like you're doing something extraordinary for yourself and for your children. That's all. Sorry, short.
That's amazing. I am not a mom myself yet, so I can't relate, but that's wonderful. And best of luck to your daughter at UC Davis. That's amazing. So thank you everybody for sharing today. Really appreciate your openness. And now hopefully you all get the opportunity to cross that off your bucket list. And I'm going to pass it back to our Toastmaster for the day, Mr. Joey Myers.
Thank you, Heather. And then I will let Monica introduce her evaluator.
So do you mean I go back and I introduce the timer report? Is that where I go from here?
No, me
So
first.
you'll introduce Sarah to present her evaluation of Emerson's speech.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Got it.
So going back to Mrs. Sarah Dawson, she's the evaluator for the speech that we had today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emerson, it was really fun. I love your topic. Let's bring back the playground. The title was perfect for what you were saying. I even like the word that you used to open it up, which was intrigued. And you were intrigued about this kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, you're intrigued. And then I immediately was, oh, I'm intrigued too. I want to know more about this. And so it was really exciting for me to be able to find out. And I also love play. I wrote my master's project on that about basically anyway, what do they call those people? Anyway, teenagers, that's what they're called. Teenagers who go out and play and and adventure and different stuff like that. And so I just know how important that is. So I was really excited about the topic and just the way you started. And just your transition. It was such a beautiful transition going from your opening into what into your story when you say you flashed back. And I thought it was a very, very, very good transition going from like this thing of what am I talking about, and then flashing back, and you kind of took us back into the childhood and related all these experiences that I know a lot of us have experienced, and for those of us who hadn't, you're very excited about it and very passionate about it, and I could see that coming through, and it just flowed really, really well in that piece of it. So it was a great story that you backed up with what you were talking about. You gave great research, and let's see, what are some of the other notes I'm looking at here? Oh yeah, I noticed though that you were really relaxed, even though you were still looking at your notes a little bit. You still seemed really relaxed, and that was kind of contrary to the very beginning. So the one thing that maybe just to pay attention to is in the very beginning, it felt a little bit more rigid, and you're just kind of like getting warmed up, and it wasn't quite there. But as soon as you switched into the flashback, it flowed from there. And even when you presented your research and different stuff to back up what you were saying, you were super relaxed, and I love that. It was great. One of the things, something that maybe just consider for the future and challenge yourself with, is getting some visual aids to go along with that, especially with this topic and play. And there's all sorts of pictures of play and fun, and you could make it as fun as you wanted, or as serious as you wanted, but just having those visual aids to back up what you were saying about the research and different things like that, I think would have been a fun addition to it. But overall, great. I know I always talk too fast, so sorry, I'll slow down. The other thing, when you were quoting your source, I think you were quoting your source, but I couldn't quite hear it, and I don't know if it's just because I'm on Zoom and you guys are over there, but it looked like you kind of had mumbled that piece of it. So being particularly careful about not the mumbling piece of it. But overall, I loved it. It's a great topic. I'd love to hear more. Thank you so much, Emerson. Fantastic job. And back to you.
Next, we're going to go ahead and go with our timer report. That's Joey, correct?
Yep. Thank you, Monica. And I just noticed, sorry, we had Emerson was all good with his speech. We had it on him, it was perfect. He was pinned. And then after Emerson, I forgot to unpin him. So we had probably Chanel was up there the whole time during table topics. And I think maybe we saw the people at the top. So I'm sorry about that. Dang it. I forgot to unpin it as I was pinning our evaluator and our speaker in there. So on the timer report, bring that up here. We had Emerson's speech came in at 6 minutes, 10 seconds. Perfect, right on time within the 5 to 7 minute. Table topics, Heather came in at 45 seconds, just slightly below. Chanel, 58 seconds. I thought I was gonna have to turn the green on for her almost. She was just slightly under. Monica, 48 seconds, slightly under. Sarah D, right in the middle, 1 minute, 30 seconds. I came in at a shocking 1 minute, 50 seconds. I didn't do my own green and yellow and red, but yeah, I came in. I'm not lying about that. Denny Mason came in at 1 minute, 35 seconds. Emerson at 1 minute, 19 seconds, did great. And then hot off the press for Miss Sarah Dawson came in at 3 minutes, 22 seconds. If she was in a competition, she came in right underneath where she needed to be. 3:30 would have been the cutoff point where we'd had to take the big giant long hook and have to pull her off the stage. So great work on the timers report. That's what I got. Back to you, Monica.
Thank you, Joey. Next, I would like to introduce our awe counter, who was our Madam President Chanel.
Thank you, Monica. Joey, I caught 3 uhs from you, which I'm a little bit proud about because that's unusual. They were super quick, but I heard them snuck in there.
I'm feeling generous today.
Trying to make the rest of us feel a little better about ourselves. Denny, I caught 1 from you. Monica, I caught 1 from you. Your speaking was very well. I think the first part you were reading, so that probably helped. And then your table topic was very clean also, so good job. Heather, there were several uhs and ums sprinkled in there. Some you knows, some ers. And Sarah, your table topic was okay. There was a little bit of a false start at the beginning, but then your evaluation, and I think evaluations in some way are the hardest part because we have to critique somebody, and I think everybody gets a little bit nervous about that. So the evaluation was very and Amish right throughout. Just something to think on. And for Emerson just had to leave, but I caught 1 a few and so's and a few false starts in his speech, but overall it was pretty clean.
Thank you for that. Is that a fire alarm?
It's a truck.
Oh, okay. Just making sure everyone's okay before we go further.
Thought that was in my house.
Next, I want to introduce our grammarian report, which was it Joey or Denny?
Yeah, Denny, did you
Denny.
keep track? Okay.
Watch this. Congratulations, you just came up with a new word called Amish, and we're gonna use that.
Not to be confused with Amish.
Yes, exactly. Amish, I love that. Today I'm gonna take an opportunity, since I'm the grammarian. One of the other new words that came up that we're going to get rid of was stuff like that. Stuff like that. That just got in there a couple of times today. No, that's almost a filler. And Joey, you gave me a great opportunity today, which was you said her and I. And there's a rule about that, which is if you take the I out, what's the pronoun you should use, which would be she. You would say she and I. And that's how you can tell. You take the I out of it, and how would you say the sentence? Just add the I back in there, and you've got it correct.
Beautiful.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
And then I think the only ones I got to you that used the word, I think was it Denny and Emerson? Was that it? Or was there somebody else that used that? Is that who I wrote down? Denny and Emerson.
Yeah.
Holding it up in their face.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, as the general evaluator, I think the meeting went really smoothly. I really enjoyed this speech today given by Emerson. And because he was talking about playing ball, I felt like we were kind of playing ball today with trying to adjust who was going to do what. Overall, it was really good. So thank you guys very much. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our Madam President, Chanel.
Thank you, Monica. I'm just gonna go ahead and give accolades to everybody because I think everybody stepped in for a role today that they weren't planning on doing. So good job, team, for making it work. And for next week, we don't have any speeches scheduled. Would anybody like to jump in and give a speech from their pathway?
Yeah, I might as well.
Yay, Sarah.
Yay. That would be awesome.
Right before the break.
Well, it's about serving others, so I figured I have to make a speech about that,
yeah.
right?
And I don't know if Heather is still there, but Heather, were you wanting to move your speech to next week and try to reschedule?
She might have stepped out.
She's not there. I'll go ahead and follow up with her and Kalani on that. the rest of us who are going to be attending, can we get volunteer for Toastmaster, general evaluator, and table topics at the least?
I'll do table topics.
Okay, thank you, Joey.
You can put me wherever.
Okay, Monica, do you know which roles you have and have not done yet?
I haven't done table topic.
Oh.
I haven't done
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster. I haven't done counter. No.
Well, do you want to do
Or
table
grammarian. I
topics?
haven't done grammarian. It don't matter to me. Whatever you prefer, Joey.
No,
If-
whatever you think is gonna be a little bit more fun for you.
Because I
Tim.
know I'm having a big week. Can I
Table
not
topic?
be Toastmaster? Anything
Yeah.
but Toastmaster. Yeah.
You want to do table topics?
Sure.
So, well, I was just Toastmaster, so send me to the evaluator.
Okay. All right, putting Monica down.
Heather's back on.
I'm sorry, I had to take a phone call.
That's good.
What is there anything I could do, or you need me to pick up a role?
I was wondering if you wanted to reschedule your speech for next week.
Right before the break.
Can I schedule it after the break?
For the 19th?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Are you planning on being here next week? Oh, Heather.
Yes, I'll be here next week. I could take on a role.
Okay. Would you like to be Toastmaster?
Sure, I could be Toastmaster.
Okay, wonderful. Great. And Denny, are you going to be
Put
here?
me in wherever.
Okay. Putting you down as general evaluator. Okay, that shall do it. Any questions, comments?
I think we're good.
Take this, the resounding silence as a no. All right, thank you guys. Have a great week.
Have a great
Thank
week.
you. Bye, everybody.
See you, ladies.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Chanel.